Hi, this is Rabbi Orlofsky, and welcome to the Rabbi Orlofsky Show, the first of the year. I hope your year is going well during this period of time, which the Talmud tells us is a sort of a paradox, because we know that there's 365 days to the year. We know this because from the Mabul, Rashi tells us there were 365 days. We know this because when they're making the Ketores, they say they make 365 portions for one day every year. So we know that there's a solar year, and then we know there's a lunar year, which is 354, or 355, or 384. It depends on the year. It comes out different ways. But take it Poshet. The Poshet thing is that there's 11 days between the lunar year and the solar year. And the Vilna Gaon says that the Aseres Mei Tshuva is that overlap from last year to this year. It's a very interesting concept. It overlaps. The Rambam says, when the year closes out, you have to look at yourself as 50-50. I have 50% good, 50% bad. And if you do tshuva, then that pushes you over the side. The Kesef Mishnah asks, why do you have to do tshuva? Just do one more mitzvah, and then you'll have evened out the account. So Itzla Blazer says, because not doing tshuva during a Aseres Mei Tshuva is so serious that it doesn't matter how many other mitzvahs you do. That'll outweigh everything. This time of year, this week, the focus on doing tshuva now is so important. Chaim Shmulevitz gives a different reason. He says, because it doesn't matter what you do now. The only thing you're doing is creating for the new account. The old account is closed. Last year's gone. So you're 50-50. It doesn't make a difference what you do now. Says Chaim Shmulevitz, except for tshuva. Because tshuva can work retroactively. It can make what you did last year not exist. In other words, I'm 50-50, and I can take away from the bad side by doing tshuva. Tshuva is the only thing that can affect last year. Very interesting. So this is a very special time. There's this overlap between the 2 years. There's a chance for us to do tshuva, and the importance of doing tshuva during a Aseres Mei Tshuva is so important. Why? You hurt somebody, and that person is the hurt party. And he comes to you to give you an opportunity to try to work things out. And you don't say anything. Dirshu Hashem b'matzu. HaKadosh Baruch Hu is here now. Obviously, he's not affected by time and place, but it means you can feel HaKadosh Baruch Hu's presence now more. The sense of HaKadosh Baruch Hu. HaKadosh Baruch Hu is everywhere. Right? Hashem is here, Hashem is there. Hashem is truly everywhere, right? I think someone made a song out of that. But HaKadosh Baruch Hu is everywhere. The word olam is from the word ha'olam. It means that he's hidden by the world. And during a Aseres Mei Tshuva, he peels away the layers. It's easier to see him, to sense him. He's always there. But now the mask is coming off. It's easier to see him. It's easier to come close to him. Well, this is a time when we really have to work on ourselves. And this is a very special, like I said, the first one of the year, and we actually have a product sponsor. You know, usually we sponsor it in honor of somebody or in memory of somebody, but now this is actually a product, and it's coming to you from a new dictionary called Talmudic B'Yodai. And you may be asking yourself, why do I need another dictionary? So I explained this to you, okay, in simple English. When I was growing up, all we had was the Jastro. The Jastro dictionary does not have one word in it that you need. Unless you know conversational Aramaic, in which case I don't know what you need the Jastrow for in the first place if you just speak Aramaic. So if you speak Aramaic, so you can look up the root word in order to be able to conjugate it and what the form is. That's almost impossible. Jastrow is really good if you're looking for names of plants, cities and Bavel, things like that, it'll tell it to you. But when you have an actual word on the line that you're trying to figure out, that's just not what it's so good. So there have been other dictionaries that have come along that try to help you. But what they did over here, Talmudic Biyado, is something that's really different. What they did is, it's set up according to every daf and shas. And you go through the particular amud, and it gives you the translation of specific words that you need. They probably don't give you ihachi, inami, right? The kind of things that are general words. But the words that are on the daf. Now, I was an extremely successful Gemara Rebbe for many years. And I'm not saying that on my own, I'm just repeating what I've heard from my Talmidim. And what I used to do when I was starting out is I'd have a prep shir, and we would go through the daf. Again, those who need it, if your skills were good enough, you didn't need this, but I'd go through the daf and I'd make sure you know where the punctuation is. Where does the line start? Where does the line end? Where does it fit in? Yeah? Then I would just translate certain terms or certain words that you may or may not know. Just to give you an idea. Now go and prepare the Gemara. But if you have those key words, it makes all the difference in the world to being able to prepare and to be able to learn a daf Gemara. And that is what this is. It's set up lefi the dapim of Shas, so that if you happen to be learning Yuma, how appropriate, and you're on Chav Tes Amud Beis, so it will translate for you Habazichin and Hakof and the Nitzotzos. Give it to you. You may or may not know those words. If you do, that's great. And if not, listen, I'm a big proponent in learning Gemara. Not just reading a translation, not just going through it. Not to take away from that, I think it's a wonderful thing. But you have to have Judaism as an open book. You have to be able to pull a sefer off the shelf and be able to learn it. That's, as far as I'm concerned, that's the ABCs of Judaism. And I can't tell you how many Talmidim I've met who've had such terrible experiences with Gemara, and they've just given up. And to be able to open up a daf and give you those tools necessary to be successful, I think is just a tremendous thing. So this dictionary covers all of Shas in a single hardcover volume. Or you can get 25 softcover editions. They're obviously easier to schlep around. For more information, visit the website talmudobiyado.com, and you can get a 10% discount off the order of 2 or more volumes. So you and your chavrusa, each have your own copy. And you can get the softcover individual masechtas that are not sold anywhere else. If you're ordering in Israel, you contact talmudoisrael@outlook.com for limited free delivery. And it's a wonderful thing. We want to thank them for sponsoring the show, and it's nice to have a product like this that obviously understands the importance of what we do here in the Rabbi Orlofsky show, inspiring people and individuals. And I assume this will be the first of many corporate sponsors that are going to be contacting me. And, I'm waiting, of course, for various, when the food expo comes up, so I'll be cooking, some of the things coming along. Yeah. Speaking of which, I got an email. Someone says, "You don't give desserts. You don't give desserts." It's true. It's true. I don't give desserts. The reason is because my mother almost never made desserts. She'd make an apple pie that was terrific. I don't have the recipe for it, unfortunately. We'd buy cake at the bakery. That was more than enough because there was almost nobody left at the table. Nobody ever left the table to lay down. You would just slowly roll onto the floor from your chair. My mother would serve for a Yontif meal. This is a Rosh Hashanah meal. Half a honeydew melon. And then gefilte fish. She'd make her own gefilte fish. It took almost a day to make it. She'd grind up the fish, make the whole thing. It was feather light, yeah. But she just made pieces like this. You understand? You have gefilte fish. Then she made chopped liver. Then she made stuffed cabbage. Then she made fricassee. Yeah. Then she had choice of soups. She had cabbage soup, and if you got that, it came with a piece of flanken. Or she had chicken soup. And then you could have either regular noodles or alphabet noodles and Chinese noodles to put into the soup and chicken. My father used to put in kasha, yeah, and you had all that stuff into the soup. And then for the main course, she would make a turkey and a brisket with all of the side dishes that go with it. With the turkey, she would make sweet potatoes and stuffing, and with the brisket, she'd have potato kugel and lakshan kugel and chveis kashavanish. I don't remember all the stuff. So really, there wasn't too many people still at the table when it came for dessert. And by the way, my mother served the same thing at the Seder. Now, okay, my father ran the Seder very quickly, but as I, got more into things, it took me longer to say the Haggadah, and the courses would be lining up down the table in front of me. And I don't know how anybody made it to the Afikomen, but so we weren't really big on desserts. But I will tell you the following: it's not my recipe. It's not my mother's recipe because, like I said, we didn't make this. In America, those of you in Eretz Yisrael may not even know what I'm talking about. In America, there's a treat that they make this time of year. It's called tegelach. And tegelach are little pieces of dough that are fried in honey that are stacked up in a little beehive shape with baking cherries and, counterintuitively, nuts. Because we don't usually eat nuts on Rosh Hashanah. Yeah? It's gematria of egos is chet, and so it's sin, and we don't want that in there. But that's how they make it. And the whole thing's covered with honey, and you pull it apart, and you eat it, and you find every cavity in your mouth. And it's incredibly painful, and I love it. So when I'd go to America, if I'd have a trip during Elul, I'd bring back tegelach. We'd have it. If not, we would make it ourselves. It is a pachka. You have to be deeply dedicated to do this. If not, then I don't know what to tell you. I live in Eretz Yisrael. There's no tegelach. 1 year, Brooklyn Bakery actually made tegelach. You were able to go and buy tegelach. And they said it was such a mess and so difficult, they never did it again. The sacrifices I make when I live in Israel. Because for some reason, they don't have any Jewish food here. I don't know why. Kreplach. In America, you can go to a takeout place and get kreplach anytime you want. Here, you can only get kreplach on the special kreplach holidays. Before Yom Kippur, before Hoshana Rabbah, and before Purim. Otherwise, there's not a kreppel to be found in this town. And I say that if you can make 8 different salads out of eggplant, then you should be able to provide kreplach for the Jews of Israel. But it's not there. Likewise, I can't get any prune hamantashen. I don't want hamantashen with chocolate in it. Okay? That's not a hamantash. It's a chocolate cookie. I did this in the shir. The famous Rabbi Reisman, the Rav of the Agudah of Madison, where I had the schus of being this past year for Shabbos and a Rosh Yeshiva in Tarvadas. And he's known, of course, for his Navi shirim. And which is really broadcast all around the world. And when his son happened to be in my shir, Benji, who's a good friend of mine. If he's watching this, give him a shout out. And I did this rant on there's no Purim hamantashen. Now, a little-known fact that Rabbi Reisman is, of course, part of the famous Reisman bakery family. And that year before Purim, I got a giant box of prune hamantashen. And I tell this story over all the time because maybe one day I'll get more. But it's hard to mail the kreplach from America because they probably go bad. But I don't know why. It's so hard to get Jewish food for tegelach. So I have to make it. I make tegelach before Rosh Hashanah because it's a Rosh Hashanah thing. So I get the recipe from Classic Kosher Cooking by Mrs. Sarah Finkel. You can see this is so used; it's taped together already. This is our go-to book, and she has great recipes. Look at this. Take a look. When we say that this is a go-to, we're not saying that's stam, And we get the recipe from there. For those of you who are unaware, she would sometimes meet Bachrim, and she'd say, where do you learn? She says, in the mirror. She says, oh, do you know my son Nat? He's there. So he says, Nat who? Nat Finkel. He's, he's in charge. He goes, you mean Reb Nosson Tzvi? He was Nat Finkel in Chicago before he was Reb Nosson Tzvi Finkel. And this is his mother's recipe. This is her mother's cookbook. My son Nat. Anyway, this is the recipe, old-fashioned tegelach. You can go look it up for yourself. It is a pachka and a half, but there is my suggestion. If you're looking for a dessert, that's one of the few desserts. Maybe before Sukkot, I'll give you my daughter's honey cake recipe that she uses. But like I say, we never baked when I was growing up. There was you can buy such great stuff in the bakery, There was this woman told me she was Moisa Nefesh every Erev Shabbos to make challahs for her family. And one week she was, whatever happened, there was something crazy. She bought challahs. Her children were so happy. You have to make really good challahs to beat some of these bakeries. I mean, you can get such good stuff today. There's so many cakes and cookies and things. But like I said, when I was growing up, nobody was left at the table when it came to dessert, So it was like, we would have all this stuff and then a cup of tea with sweet and low. Ay, ay, ay. But anyway, that's the So here's my honey cake recipe. Go to the store, buy a honey cake. And I call that my easy honey cake recipe. In any event, we're coming out of Rosh Hashanah. We're in the Aseres Meitzuvah. And it's a time when we have a special opportunity. It's brought down in halacha that you take on a chumrah during Aseres Meitzuvah, something you do not intend to keep doing the whole year. Now, what are we pulling a fast one on a Kadosh Baruch Hu? No. Because this is very important. Yeah. Reb Tzadok HaKohen says that we went 7 weeks in the desert till we reached the point that we could stand at Har Sinai and experience a Giloi Shechina. But it says it was a Giloi Shechina at the Yam Suf, the splitting of the Red Sea, that God revealed himself. And it says what a shifcha, what a slave saw at the sea, Yecheskel ben Buzi, the great Navi, the great prophet, didn't see. So Reb Tzadok says, because sometimes HaKadosh Baruch Hu lets you see the goal before you're there. So I want to, during the first week of the year, do something that I can't keep up. I'll give you a simple example, right? Depends where you daven. But during Aseres Meitzuvah, we have very long slichos. And I normally go to a 7 o'clock minyan, and slichos starts at 6:20. Except on Tzom Gedalia, we start at 6:15. Yeah, we managed to put in a few extra slichos, and I get up and I go. And one year somebody said to me, if you went to davening every day at 6:15 or 6:20, you'd have much more time in your day. You'd have much more of your morning. I said, that's true, but I would also die. I can't do that. The only way I get through Aseres Meitzuvah is with coffee. Now, having said that, there was one year, it was in Av, these things always happen in Av, and somebody was talking to me and I said, I can't talk to you, I gotta have a coffee. And I didn't like the way that sounded. So I took on myself that I wasn't going to drink coffee from Rosh Chodesh Elul until after Yom Kippur. And I got through that slichos without coffee. But okay, but that was only because I was trying to prove a point and my natural stubbornness carried me through. But normally, if I could do it for a week and get up very early for long slichos during Aseres Meitzuvah. But I can't keep that up the whole year. So what am I doing? We're fooling a Kadosh Baruch Hu? No. For 1 week, we're showing ourselves, I'm capable of more. I'm showing you something you're not holding by yet. But you could. You could. You're just not ready yet. And that's okay. That is more than okay. It's so nice to have a taste of something that I'm not quite ready for yet. I grew up in a home that wasn't Shomer Shabbos. When I was a kid, we would every now and then, the school would take us away to a community that was Shomer Shabbos. And it was mind-blowing. To a kid, I was a kid. I mean, I became Shomer Shabbos at 12, so I'm talking about I was much younger. And just to see it. And I might not have been ready to do it yet, but I saw this now as something that could be part of my life. And that's always important. You have to be able to see the destination, where I'm going. So this week, we're going to try to live life a little bit more than we usually do. It's the first week of the year. Let's start off on our best foot. And we don't try to do something that's impossible. We try to take on something that's a little bit harder for us to keep. Yeah, it's brought down in Shulchan Aruch, Pas Akum. It might have been that the baker was non-Jewish, and okay, all the ingredients were kosher and chves that would keep by, but it was Pas Akum. It was baked by a non-Jew. And so at least the Seres Tshuva, you want to have Pas Yisrael. Now here in Eretz Yisrael, it's not such a problem, because we have a lot of Jews. And in America, there are a lot of stuff with good hashgachas that are baked goods that are very, very yummy. Yeah, full disclosure. They are very yummy, yeah. So I don't want to take upon myself that I'm never going to have them again. I have a nephew who relied on Reb Moshe Feinstein in America, and he ate things with what Reb Moshe calls cholav ha-companies in Igros Moshe, what we call today, they call stam cholav. He felt it was lechatchila. In fact, Rabbi Frankel, the Rav of the Agud of Long Island, had put together a kuntras of different questions he asked Reb David Feinstein. And one of them was, should a person be makbid, if he normally relies on Reb Moshe, should he be makbid during a Seres Tshuva not to have cholav stam? And Reb David said no. Reb Moshe didn't hold it was a chumra even. So, but okay, but, a machmer tavo bracha, yeah. So he went to get married, goes down the chuppah, and afterwards they went into the chassan room. In America, the kala has a room and the chassan has a room. And in Eretz Yisrael, the chassan, has his room. It's called the hall, and the kala has a room. It's called the bathroom. And we're not quite as advanced over here, but so afterwards, his brother told me, he says he went into the room, and just before he went down to the chuppah, he had his last Kit Kat. He says there were the wrappers over there, because he was going to take on after he got married, to keep Chalav Yisrael. So he had his last Kit Kat. Yeah. So, okay, there it says, Tshuva, people who may not be machmir on Pas Yisrael the whole year, during this week, we take on a little bit more. We do something else, because it's such a special week. Kadosh Baruch Hu is so close. We want to be better. And listen, many women out there know that when their mother-in-law is coming to visit, they clean the house in a way that's different than the way that they clean it normally, because the mother-in-law is coming. First time I met my future mechutanim, the Katkeses who live in Ramat Beit Shemesh, there was nothing on any of their counters. I couldn't do that if I wanted to. There's not enough room in my cabinets to hide everything. There's not my counters. But I remember one of my daughters when she was dating, so they picked her up at the house, and she asked that none of the children be around. It's like all the children were locked in the back room until they were ready to get more serious, and then they were allowed out. They were so excited, But I couldn't hide everything. So when your mother-in-law is coming, you try to clean on a different level. Kosh Baruch Hu's right here. I want to stand a little taller. I want to speak a little nicer. I want to put my best foot forward, put on my best face. I want to Kosh Baruch Hu, he's right here with us. This is the journey that we experience from Rosh Hashanah to Yom Kippur. Dear Yeshua Hashem B'Matzu, he's right here. Why would we let that opportunity slip away? And so that's where we are. It's so interesting that Tzom Gedalia comes out during Aseres Tshuva because it's really Churban related. But you know what the story is? The story is that after all the Jews went into Golus, the Lo Yitzlach stayed behind. Nebuchadnezzar didn't even want him. You stay here. And he took Gedalia, who was a big tzaddik, and put him in charge. And this was a golden opportunity after the Churban and after the Golus for those Jews who had such good excuses. I never made it because I didn't have a good job. I never made it because I didn't have any money. I didn't make it because I didn't have any yichus. I didn't make it for this reason. So I'm a victim of circumstances. Everybody's gone. It's yours. You got the run of the place. Sometimes you're going to shul, there's no seats to be had. And sometimes there's not so many people, You get a whole row to yourself, That is probably one of the greatest moments in a person's life, when they get onto the plane and it's mostly empty. Get a whole row for yourself, lie down. Delightful. But when you understand that you have this opportunity, Kosh Baruch Hu's right here. So what was Tzom Gedalia? These people had another chance. They had everything to themselves. So what did they do? They killed Gedalia. Got Nebuchadnezzar angry. He came in, exiled everybody. And that was the end. That was the last chance. This week is that chance that we have to be better. And during the year, we have all kinds of things going on and all kinds of problems. But this is the week. Kosh Baruch Hu's right there with us. He's got his arm around us. So how's it going? A chance to be close. We want to be a little better. Don't have to be perfect. I don't want it to be perfect. Trust me, it's taken me a lot of years. But if a person to be perfect, this guy once said to me, I feel like a perfect idiot. I said, nobody's perfect. It's hard to be perfect. I don't have to be perfect. My goal this year is to be better. And the goal for Aseres Tshuva is, I'll put on a tie for the picture. I'll comb my hair. If you happen to be one of those people who don't usually do that, I'll make sure that I tuck in my shirt. I'm going to look as good as I can because the Kosh Baruch Hu is right here with me. That's Aseres Tshuva. Such an opportunity that the Kosh Baruch Hu gives us. He's right here, and he's going to stay with us till Yom Kippur. Close, close, close. He's coming closer and closer every day. We come out of Rosh Hashanah. We blew shofar, and HaKadosh Baruch Hu moved from the Kisei Adin to the Kisei Rachamim. And now he's in a generous mood. Mercy. He wants you. He's come down. He's come to you. He's met you more than halfway. He went all the way from Shemayim all the way down here with you. Now's not the time to ignore him. That's what Reb Itzla Blazer means when he says, if you don't do tshuva now, when HaKadosh Baruch Hu's come all the way to you, that level of apathy that's not a Jewish heart. You can't be that apathetic. You gotta care, HaKadosh Baruch Hu's there. And this is hard for us because most of us don't believe in God. Don't take that the wrong way. But I'll prove it to you. You're davening. Baruch atah hash. Oh my God. I mean, that's you? Well, yeah. Who'd you think you were davening to? Nobody. Go ahead. Okay, Avraham. I remember Avraham. I love that guy. Okay, Yitzchak. You know, he was ready to give up his life for me. Okay, I have to tell you, this is really uncomfortable. Well, 1 second, you knew I was always standing there. Not really. Now, if you go down, Baruch Atah Hashem, and God's standing like, oh, hi, let me keep going. Okay, Abraham, okay, and it doesn't affect you. That's why nes is from the word nisayon, because when a miracle takes place, it's real hard to doubt HaKadosh Baruch Hu's existence. And because of that, we feel more of a sense of like, wow. And Aseret Tshuva is that wow, it's that nes. As the Torah says, we go into Rosh Hashanah confident that Hashem will make a nes for us and save us. This is that time of year. So Mitzvah Hashem, we are going to take advantage of this time. Don't let opportunities slip away. Or as my father said to me once when I turned down what he considered to be a really golden opportunity, he said to me, when opportunity knocks, you have to open the door, he said. Opportunity is knocking. HaKadosh Baruch Hu is right here. Let's take advantage of his presence for us to be able to turn our life into the life that we want it to be. And that's it for this week. First year of the year. First podcast of the year, sorry, whoops. First show of the year. Forgot myself for a moment. And that's it. If you want to find out more about the show, you can go to RabbiOrlofsky.com. You can find out about upcoming events. You could contact me. You could make a comment. You could sponsor an episode. Go to the RabbiOrlofsky.com/podcast. Click on the sponsor an episode. And you too would have an opportunity, perhaps, to sponsor it in memory of somebody or to push a product or services. Yeah, we will work with corporate sponsors at this point. Anyway, so that's about it. That's it for this edition of the Rabbi Orlofsky Show. I'm David Orlofsky, and this is the Rabbi Orlofsky Show.